This is Tara Devishankar, Assistant Professor in Department of Media Studies, Christ Nagar College, Trivandrum. Welcome to our film appreciation class. Today we are going to study about genres in cinema. What are the different genres in cinema? Okay. Among them, we have to learn about documentary films. Actually, when talking about genres, I have to talk a little. That means films are actually different types. What we capture in the mode of motion picture, or what we captured once in celluloid and now in digital format, and what we enjoy while going to multiplex or big film, that means cinema halls. That is what we call generally cinema. And cinema, even the film can be again classified in different formats. That is what we call genres in cinema. And among them, a few we have to learn in detail, and one among them is documentary films. And the others we will definitely come to, to our discussion in our later classes. What is actually genre? Genre is a motion picture category based on similarities in either the narrative element for the or the emotional response to the film. Based on that, based on the narrative element or based on the emotional response, we categorize genres basically into fiction and documentary. So the basic genres are fiction and the other one is documentary. And subgenres emerged from this kind of basic division, that is from the fiction films and from the documentary. Documentary too have some subgenres. We'll discuss that. And let us discuss in detail now the documentary. What is documentary cinema? Okay. And documentary or actuality or factual matters, including contemporary issues. That means it's a kind of portraying of subject matter in the mode of cinema. And when we see all those things, usually what is very real and very raw in format, we call them documentary. They try to educate, inform, communicate, and raise our consciousness on relevant problems and are mostly made out of already existing materials. Documentaries are mostly filmed in actual locations, making use of natural light and sound. They capture real people living in their own real living situations. That is the importance of documentary. They capture real people in their real life situations. It's a kind of non-fictional motion picture intended to document reality, primarily for the purpose of instruction, education, or maintaining a historical record. Documentary has been described as a filmmaking practice, a cinematic tradition, and a mode of audience reception that is continually evolving and is without clear boundaries. Documentary films are originally called actuality films because what we see in the films of Lumiere brothers, that means the arrival of the train or the workers leaving the factories, all those were actuality. It has slight difference from what we call real documentary now because they were just actualities, no editing, nothing happened to that, and no kind of film language is put on that. It's a very raw format, and what we see in these documentaries is a bit different from all those actualities. Though we call documentary films actuality films, and where only that films were only a minute or less in length. And over time, documentaries have evolved or they evolved to be a longer in length and to include more categories like educational documentary, observational documentary, and even we have docu-fiction which have a component like a fictional element inserted onto this documentary realities. And documentaries are also educational and often used in schools for teaching purposes. And yet the social media platforms, when the YouTube are using documentaries in a more improved way to distribute or kind of distribution of knowledge and information to a wide population. So now we are talking about the history of documentary. Okay, here we begins with the history of documentary, and you can see the name John Grierson. Who is John Grierson? This is a name associated with the emergence of documentary. John Grierson is credited as the founder of the British documentary movement, who used the word documentary while referring to Robert Flaherty's film Mona in 1920. He called Robert Flaherty's Mona, the movie Mona, oh, this is documentary. So the term emerged from this person that is known as John Grierson. And he defined a documentary as the creative treatment of actuality. What is creative treatment of actuality? And he realized that cinema could be used as an excellent medium for information education and propaganda. And Grierson, a key feature in the British documentary school, is thought to have been the first to use the term to describe the John Robert Flaherty's film. Actually, it happened in 1920 by seeing the cinema Mona, but the term actually came into being as a real documented term. That means people used to use documentary. This is documentary from 1926 onwards. So the value, documentary value came up by 1920, and actually the film was portrayed in 1920. So from 1926, there is a kind of confusion behind this. No need of confusion is going behind confusions, because it's very clear that by 1920 he called the film Mona documentary, but by 1926 only people accepted the term documentary as a genre in cinema. Okay, and I hope you are clear with this term. And by actually he's realized that cinema could be an excellent medium for information, and he voiced his concern regarding the intellectual aspects of democracy, such as lack of education among the electorate, or through a series of documentary which he brought out between 1930 and 1939. So he was using the documentary as a tool, and that was the emergence of documentary. And in 1948, the World Union of Documentary established, and the following definition of documentary came up by 1948. Documentaries are all methods of recording on celluloid any aspect of reality interpreted either by sincere and justifiable reconstruction, so as to appeal either to reason or emotion for the purpose of stimulating the desire for and the widening of human knowledge and understanding, and of truthfully posing problems and their solutions in the spheres of economics, culture, and human relations. This is the definition given by World Union of Documentary. But we have something to talk about John Grierson, because the documentary is a branch of film produced which goes to the actual and photographs it and edits it and shapes it, and it attempts to give information and pattern, or form and pattern, to the complex of direct observation. This is a viewpoint of John Grierson, and definitely with the concepts of John Grierson, I have to walk a little more, because The Nanook of the North, 1922, by Robert Flaherty, is claimed as the very first documentary. Okay, The Nanook of the North of 1922 by Robert Flaherty is claimed as the very first documentary, and it portrayed the life of Eskimos. According to Susan Hayward, truth and the speaking subject are the two important aspects of the documentary. So, what Susan Hayward, a critic in documentary, said that truth and speaking subjects are the two important aspects of documentary. So, authenticity of the documentary is another crucial factor. Nanook has been established as a documentary reconstruction since some of the sequences in the films are staged. So there are people who call it as a docu-fiction and distorting the truth about the everyday life of Eskimos. What happened is, I'll tell you the reason behind that. Actually, inside the igloo, there were the limitation of capturing real activities, because there were no light inside the igloos. So this person, Robert Flaherty, cut the upper portion of the igloo. He removed the upper portion of the igloo, and allow sunlight to fall inside, and with the help of the sunlight he captured the reality going inside the igloo. That means the life of the Eskimos is actually associated with the life inside the igloos. That means their everyday activities like having food, sleeping, having other day-to-day affairs, everything is inside the igloo. And if light doesn't enter to the igloo, definitely you won't be able to capture, because in that period, 1922 and all, they don't have a provision to have artificial light inside the igloo and have a shoot in the Arctic region. So and it's not possible. So the only what option behind before him was to cut the upper portion. So it was called as a staged drama, and that is why it falls into the category of docu-fiction, at least in the viewpoints of certain critics. Anyway, this whatever it is, by 1922, a term emerged, and by 1926 it was very underlined in the underlined with the what kind of definition what we discussed just before. And the documentary also contains certain fictional elements, and this is also possible. And that type of fictional elements inside a documentary, then we call them docu-fiction. If a documentary holds some fictional elements, then we call them docu-fiction. Jane Chapman had made it very clear that a documentary will never be wholly true to reality, but neither will it eliminate reality too. Fully can't eliminate reality, but it should not be, it never be wholly true to reality, but neither will it eliminate reality altogether simply because it is representation. So it can't omit reality altogether, but definitely it have a possibility to add something from the reality or to portray reality in a different way. So that is what we discussed here. Anyway, we are moving to the next slide, and here definitely you can see the viewpoints. That means documentary cannot be considered. Another viewpoint by Eric Bernau. This is another important person who tells something about documentary. What he said is, documentary cannot be considered the truth, but rather the evidence or the testimony of a fact or situation within the complex historical process. This is what just before the John Chapman, Jane Chapman told about documentary. Jane Chapman told it is not, it never be wholly true, and that is the same thing Eric Bernau has stated that, and but rather the evidence or the testimony of a fact or situation within the complex historical process. And now about another viewpoint, that is from Michael Renaud. He sees the documentary as the more or less artful reshaping of the historical world, and it records, reveals, or perceives, or, or persuades, or promotes, analyzes, interrogates, and expresses reality. Okay, now about Bill Nicholas. Documentary as a fluctuating institution consisting of a corpus of text, a set of viewers, and a community of practitioners and conventional practices that are subject to historical changes. So it is an institution consisting of what all things. It have a text, and it has a set of viewers are there, and a community of practitioners are practicing documentaries, and conventional practices are there associated with the documentary production. Okay, that is why still film students used to study documentary production as a paper. And now, according to Nicholas, three criteria for the definition of documentary. The first definition focus on director's point of view. Documentary films exercise less control over their subject than their fictional counterparts. Than fictional films, it has a less control over the people who are involved in documentary. That means the directorial, from the directorial point, the director had a very less hold over the subject. And the second definition refers to the text. That is, the structure of the documentary text has parallels with other text. These parallels occur at several or various levels. They may belong to a moment, period, style, or form. So the text or the script is not a pure thing that which is investigated, which is developed by the documentarian. It has some references from the history, from the period it portrays, from the style or form. Okay, and next about the third definition concerns the relationship between documentary and the viewer. Viewer develop skills based on understanding and interpretation of the process that enables them to understand the cinema. So the third portion it shows the relationship between documentary and the viewer. So the viewers develop skills based on an understanding and interpretation of the process that enables them to understand the cinema or the film. Okay, and moving to the next. Here we have to discuss more on the historical documentary. That means we are getting on to the different genres of documentary. It's a kind of what are the types of documentary? If a question is asked to you like that, then definitely you can start with a historical documentary. A film about the past which involves creative treatment that asserts a belief that the given object, states of affairs or events occurred or existed in the actual world portrayed. That means actually, it is according to David Ludwigson. That means historical documentary is portraying the history. It is capturing something from the history. So it is a creative treatment of the actual things happened in the past, and just portraying, just re-representing, or which is showing something of the past to the audience in a movie format. Okay. And next, hope you got understand. You can understand it. And next is about the modes of documentaries. That means there are different types of mode of production. According to the mode of production, documentary can be classified. And when we are talking about the different types of documentary, we can't stop it there. So I think we can't stop it here because definitely with more elaboration on different types of documentary, I have to move forward a little more. Then only I'm moving to the modes of documentary. Otherwise, my students may get a bit confused. So I'll be back with another video telling you about the different types of documentary. Then we will move to the modes of documentary. Thank you for listening to me. See you with another session. Thank you.